Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. My name is Rochelle Slay, or Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And y'all, we are in for a special treat tonight. All right, so stop what you're doing. All right, make sure you go get your pens and papers because, yes, you're going to get some gems being dropped. And on this show, y'all, we start from the word slay. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that resonate with me, and I know they resonate with you, and that is stay ready, be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. And so the purpose of this talk show is to bring in men and women who are using the slave philosophies to make a big, huge impact in this world using what they know on their own terms. And so I have a special guest. And so as you come on in, please let us know where you're streaming in from. Give us your name and where you're streaming in from so that way we can give you a shout out. All right, because we want you to be part of the conversation too. And you said, hey, you know what? I want to spend a little bit of time here on Sunday night before I go into the week to have a conversation. And this is all about leadership, wellness, mindset, personal branding, business acumen. And I, as the background of this show, am your host as a talk show host, speaker, if you will, author. I specialize in personal branding, image consultant, and present advisory work, and a proud United States Air Force veteran. So we got one comment in here. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, the queens are showing up, y'all. Thank you so much for being here, Chanela. Ready to hear the Slay Queen and Shevvy. Yes, I'm so happy that you're here with us tonight. And Samantha, she coming on in here too. Good evening, Queen. You ready? We ready. All right. I love the energy, y'all. Coming in from New Jersey. Okay. And Samantha is like from New Jersey as well. So New Jersey is holding it all the way down. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here tonight. So, y'all, who do I have tonight? Okay, tonight I have my great friend and sister in arms, Shevvy Maxwell, Shevon Shevvy Maxwell. All right. If you are not following her right now, I need you to go into LinkedIn, find her, follow her, connect with her. She's on IG. She is on YouTube. All right. She is absolutely slaying all the things. Now, she is also a United States Air Force veteran. She served for 22 years, and she is an author, leadership and business development consultant who equips founders, leaders, and organizations to perform at a high level without sacrificing their team, capacity, well-being, or mission. She is the founder of J3M Consulting, where she helps innovators and founders access federal opportunities through qualified proposals to SBIR, STTR pathways. She also leads MAC Leadership Academy, delivering transformational leadership and emotional wellness experiences that equip high-performing women and teams in high-stress environments to replace burnout with resilience, alignment, and internal self-leadership capacity. Her readiness-based people-first approach is grounded in her proprietary LOW Framework, which stands for Leadership Readiness, Operational Readiness, and Wellness Readiness, and further supported by her S4 method, self-awareness, strength, stewardship, and sustainability. She is the author of Women Breathe, Leading Through Life, Career, and Business While Thriving in Every Season, and the creator of transformational experiences, including The Power of Self-Leadership, Turning Stress into Strength, and the Women Breathe, Reset, and Lead experience, all designed to activate leadership readiness from the inside out. Now, with all of this, all right, we are going to get school. All right, so we know that these are diamonds in the roughs. All right. So I just want you to put your hands together for my great friend, sister in arms, Shevvy or Shevon. Okay. I know her by Shevvy, y'all, but Shevon Maxwell. Hey, what's going on? The queens are in the building. The queens are showing up. Vita, hey, queen, what's going on? Love that you're here with us this evening. Good evening. Leslie is in the building. Hi, Madame.
Yes, hello,
Happy
hello.
Sunday. And then we've got Keisha. Hey, Keisha, what's going on from Maryland? It's from my backyard here. So I am so excited to have you here, Shevvy. I mean, seriously, you were on the show and we were talking about it the other day about how long it has been. And
Yes.
and I'm thinking, what, 2023?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me again for the second time.
You're
And I
welcome.
was back there actually as it was, you were talking and the music coming on. I was dancing back there and I was like, okay, I like the music for the intro. But
Yeah.
yes, we had our first live. I think it was right after I retired from the Air Force, either
Mm.
October or November of 23. So that was my first time coming
Yeah.
on the show. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And a lot has happened.
Whew, girl, tears, transitioning, all of it. Okay, I'm hoping that I don't shed any tears today. But if it happens, it happens. But yes, a lot has happened, good, bad, transition over the last 2 years. But I'm here to share and connect with other women and just kind of give you what I can today. And hey, Samantha here. Hi, Chanella. We got a lot of people here, so thank you all so much for joining. So yes.
Yeah. Well, okay, so where should we begin? All right. That, I guess that is the question of the evening, is start wherever you want to start from. And then we'll just go into conversation from there.
Okay, I'll just kind of start from where we left off 2 years ago, just kind of a quick summary. When I was here last time, everyone, I was really focused on MAC Leadership Academy, which is still a passion, which is still my, my joy, my purpose. But then the opportunity came to really tap into and learn about this SBIR thing, which is the J3M Consulting came about, and just learn about that process. So that created a new opportunity for me to support small businesses, especially minority businesses, because during my journey of figuring out or having this opportunity come into my lap, and I was like, what is this thing? And sometimes we're just on our path to do something. Like for me, it was just like, oh, leadership. But then I connected with a woman who was in the consulting space for decades. Black woman. We connected. We just really vibe in a sense. And when we were having a conversation, she's like, hey, Shevvy, I have this opportunity. And she was sharing all the things. And I was like, this is new. I've never heard of this. And I said, let me look into this, because she didn't have the capacity. And so often as women who are driven, ambitious, doing all the things, we have a lot on our plates. Like we are wearing multiple hats, including myself. So I'm guilty of that as well. And so I did my research, and that's when I learned that, oh, this thing called SBIR, which is a small business innovation research. And I started going down this rabbit hole. And then I thought, okay, I asked the question, can I do this? Can I support businesses in the tech space to identify and find opportunities? And honestly, when you trust yourself and you understand what you bring in the sense of the value, but also my military background of
Yeah.
serving 22 years, the skill set, the leadership, the ability, writing packages, which, we have sat at round tables for hours, sometimes a full day. I know for me on active duty, just looking at packages, looking at bullets and making sure that we send up the most qualified packages to the organization, to the wing to get awarded. So all of that kind of brought me into the space of consulting. So I want to
Mm.
just kind of stop right there if you want to, if you have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That was a lot of the intro that we can start to pull out some things. And I
Yeah.
was on the Facebook side because I wanted to acknowledge a few people that we can't see here in the comments, but we've got Glenroy is in the building. Okay, holding it down over there. We've got Keith Castile holding it down. He's
Hey.
talking about the North Pole of Manassas. That's where he is at in Manassas, Virginia. He's got or they're just in here just watching, and we're going to be paying attention. I'm paying attention, y'all, to you over here too. And then we have Chris Jones on the LinkedIn side. Blessings to you too
Hello,
as
hello,
well.
Chris.
Thank you so much for being here, and add value, y'all. This is a conversation that we're having. But Chevy, you're saying a lot of things in the intro here about trusting yourself, looking back at what you were doing, make adjustments, figuring out what you're really great at. This was a path that you didn't think for yourself, but you followed it and you learned so much from it. And I think that is an important, way for us to get started, because I know there are a lot of other people who were, serving in the military perhaps, or in the government space, that are looking to do something completely different than what they were doing. And you're a prime example of someone who is doing that and doing it in excellence. So, you know, so it goes to show you of, you had no idea what you can do unless you try. So tell us a little bit about believing in yourself, because I know you're operating in the self-leadership space, right? So can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts, or some of the principles or the ways that you lead yourself and help others to do the same?
Oh yeah. So definitely, when it comes to self-leadership, for me, it's the core of who I am. And that really is now like in full effect, I would say today. Because as I look back on my journey from the time I joined the military, from the time I, transitioned from my marriage about 8 years ago, loss of a parent, dealing with anxiety, vertigo, a lot of different things. And the more I look back and reflect on my life, a lot of that, it was me deciding, even through the fears, through the anxiety, through the times when I felt like I was about to lose my mind, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes. Even as a parent, and all the stressors and different variables and things that caused me to experience life, because it was life experiences, along with the surmount of responsibility from serving as a leader in the military, being a wife at the time, raising 2 young kids. It was a lot emotionally. And as I was navigating those challenges, I really have to tap into my mental. And that to me is truly part of the self leadership, being able to know that, hey, I'm dealing with this, I'm struggling with these, different things that are happening in life, in my career, and choosing to still move forward.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing, like, still, and that's self leadership. It's
Yeah.
choosing and deciding and trusting to know, like, this is happening to me in this moment. I can
Yeah.
choose to wallow and cry. And yes, I've cried, screamed, all the things. But for me is making sure that I still trust myself to figure out, how can I walk through this path of anxiety, whatever it was, divorce, losing a 20 plus year friendship as well, to just still knowing that I get to choose me, and I
Mm-hmm.
get to decide how I want to move forward with every single situation.
Yeah. I think that's important, to reemphasize choice, because choice is something that, we get to do if we really look into what is happening for ourselves and making informed decisions based on what is, the situation at hand, who's involved, who's it going to affect. And at the end of the day, it's us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we have to show up. And I do want to talk about, like being on public display. All
Mhm.
right. Because we have been in this journey together.
Yes.
And it could be a little daunting and scary to show up in public and have people see the journey, right? Because
Yeah.
there are transition points, there are pivots, there are, decisions that you make in that you're like, oh, that's not right for me right now. So I'm going to try this here, you
Yes.
know? So talk about like the many times that you had to okay, I'm going to be here. I'm going to get in this space to where you're at right now. And what were some things that kind of helps you to see that? Because a lot of people will just stay with where they're at and just, you know, be good. And
Yeah.
then they're not.
Yes. No, honestly, Rochelle, we we have conversation on a daily,
Mhm.
and even before I connected with you through LinkedIn, which was how we connected by me reaching out.
Yeah.
And from the time I was on active duty, my journey was started before I even fully retired. And for me, where I was at, my last duty station was pretty much what I was doing in a sense of, facilitating and leading leaders and traveling and with the development of people, because that is my core, developing people to be better, to lead better. And I said, okay, I want to do this, more of this when I retired. And in the military, we have a lot of skill set. We
Hmm.
have a lot of skill set. But
Yeah.
when you transition that into the commercial space, it's challenging for us military. I know, and when I say challenging, not in the sense that we can do it, in the sense of making sure we have the clarity to not waste time, money. And that was something that I struggled with in the beginning, because as someone who is like, hey, action taker, let me go ahead and proceed. I invested in different coaches, mentors, without truly taking the time to process what I wanted to do, where I'm trying to go, who I'm looking to serve. So that took a lot of time. So throughout my journey from the first of 2020 to, getting my, EIN, launching my business, I have pivoted from Mac Wellness, which was focused on the wellness, because at that time, my journey of, with anxiety and different things and holistic, which is still part of the leadership because it's holistic. And then from there, I had launched, a consulting business, Mac Leadership Development. And then from there, and I was like, okay, I want to bring in the wellness aspect and leadership, which brought about Mac Leadership Academy. But throughout that journey, though, I still wasn't clear, because again, but I still kept investing. And
Hmm.
sometimes I think as individuals, as entrepreneurs, we want the result. Like, we are like, hey, I have the skill set, I have what it takes, why things are not happening for me. And y'all, I have asked that questions. I'm in a different journey in this moment, but I'm just giving you all the path. And for me, even though I was shifting, I shifted because I knew, okay, this wasn't working. And like you said, sometimes we as individuals, we sit in that thing that we feel like this is it, this is it. But then we have to really question and ask ourselves, what am I just going in this cycle? Am I just planning and planning the same thing, but there's no result? And for me, I want results. I want the opportunity to help more people, to serve more people. So for me, yes, and if you've been following me, you've seen my journey here on LinkedIn Live, where I, 6 months I will be talking about helping, agency owners. And then another 6 months, you're like, oh, Chevvy's dealing with the tech folks. But for me, I don't mind putting myself out there. And that is
Yeah.
the thing about, entrepreneurship. Like, you have to trust yourself to know that, hey, everything may not work right away, but you have to continue until you find that thing. And for
Yeah.
me, I feel like I'm here when it comes to my leadership and the consultant aspect. But y'all, it was a journey. When I say investment, I'm still trying to recoup a lot of that still. But where I'm at right now, I feel great. I love what I do in both aspects, because even with the tech, you still need leadership. So it mirrors each other. So I'm going to pause right there because we have a lot of
Yeah,
comments.
we do. It's just like y'all are just okay. So let me just go back to Keith. Keith said, powerful Chevy.
Thank you, Keith.
And then he said, it's the clarity piece that resonated, especially in the beginning, right? We're in uncharted territory. If, coming from military background, a long corporate or a long government service, this is uncharted territory. And so, it is trying to figure out, what is it that I do? Who do I serve? And what are the results that I produce. And you got to try. These are their trial and error at the very beginning.
Yes, can I say something with that,
Yeah.
what you said and what you shared?
Yeah.
And I just want to harp on this, like truly for any veteran who is an entrepreneur or thinking about stepping into the space, like I know you're excited, you're like, I have the skill set, I have the tools. I'm telling you right now, get clear on exactly what is it that you want to do. Because if you don't, you're going to be like me from in the beginning.
Unless you want,
Invested.
unless you want to go down that journey. I mean, because we both did. It's like,
Yes,
what are we to people? What do we
yes,
do? How
yes,
can we share the one thing, but we have all these other things in the background? You
yes,
know. So
yes.
yeah,
But
I
take your
agree with
time.
you. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with you. It is being patient, but paying attention.
Yes.
you
Oh, I
know
like
and
that.
and taking data and taking information and deciding, okay, well, that's working, that's not working, how do I adjust? And Susan, it's so great to see you here too, my queen, and I love that you're spending a little bit of time with us tonight, so thank you so much.
Hello,
Hopefully you're doing
Susan.
well and she's staying warm. And then, of course, on the LinkedIn side or the Facebook side, we've got Glenn Roy, and he says, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Okay, let's
Amen.
go to church. Okay, amen. If we are placed on a path, all we have to do is truly believe that he will help us to navigate towards and to the pinnacles that he has adorned for us. All we have to do is exhibit and live out mustard seed sized faith.
All right, Glenbro. You know what? I didn't go to church today, but I think I just got some church. So thank
You
you.
just got some church. Okay. I didn't go either because this weather out here is just absolutely horrendous when it comes to the wind and the cold. And so, Glenroy, you always say the right things at the right time. So I appreciate you putting that in, because it is a reminder to us that our steps have already been ordered.
Yes.
We may have to go here, there, and everywhere, and we're kind of seeing what's landing. But at the end of the day, we are right where we're supposed to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
And then Chris says, love this aspect, but the path can be slow as well and have side quests. It's okay to shift.
100%, Chris. 100%. And I think that is the reminder for people to understand, or anyone. It's okay to shift. People are looking. People are looking. People are going to talk. They're going to say, oh, people probably say, Shevvy, switching again. You're right. I am. But guess what? It is my choice. And because I have a vision for me, I don't have a vision for you. You have your own vision. So if I choose to pivot and adjust, allow me to do that, because I don't mind doing it. And when I need to, I will. If I need to pivot from what I'm doing now, guess what? That is what I am going to do. I think too often people are looking and wondering what other people are saying, which is keeping them from truly
Mm.
stepping into the thing that they want. For me, at this point of life and journey, it's like, no, if I want to do this or pivot and adjust, is it going to take time for me to rebuild and create a new audience? Yes. But it's going to be the audience that I want to support and serve. So, yes, thank you for that,
Mm.
Chris.
Yeah. And that's such a great response. I absolutely love that. And Vita says she agrees 1,000% with Keith, which was powerful, Chevy, this story of sharing like where you were at with the consulting, kind of how you've shifted and, grown into where you're at right now. And, because we talk a lot, there's so many things and angles that we can go from. I want us to talk through a little bit about mindset, all right? Because I think, the journey from being in a highly conforming environment where there's rules, there's structures, there's hierarchy, and all that into play. And now you're out and it's like wild, wild west. You're in the unknown and you're like trying to figure out who's who. And we can get caught up in the beliefs. And I know you speak to belief, right?
Mhm.
Of what we think or what we got going on in here that kind of dictates what we do. So, tell us a little bit about that concept of the belief, and how do you, in particularly, adjust your mindset as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So, I talked about belief in my workshop that I did for this nonprofit. And, just kind of give a quick little example. It was a participant in there, and they were sharing how, and this individual is a doctor. It's a doctor, and this individual go out into the community. This individual is, well educated, but still question their ability to have what it takes to give and do more. And the person would say they were looking for validation. And, because I kind of brought that out from the conversation, and I was like, who are you looking to please? And is that something that happened maybe when you were younger? And then what the person shared was like, they never thought of that whatever happened at a younger age is the reason why there are, people pleasing or looking for something else for the outside world to say, oh, Dr. X. Just, I'm speaking in general. This is not Dr. X, but just like,
He probably like, what do you say?
Exactly.
We'll talking about you.
Exactly. Dr. S, we'll say Dr. S.
Yeah.
But for me, and I have to tell that individual, when it comes to the belief system, you can have all the accolades, but if you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, like you need another certification, or you need X, or you need this, you are building connections in your brain. And these are neurons that are sending signals throughout your entire brain. And every time you tell yourself this specific thing, you are rewiring your brain to believe that you're not good enough, that you don't have the qualification. So what I said to this individual, if you keep believing that, then that is how you are going to show up every single day. And in order to create that shift, you have to pretty much flip it on the other side. And for me, it's saying to myself and telling that individual, you have to identify all the things that you have achieved. And that could be gratitude, whatever that is. Like you have to say some type of gratitude, that whether it's 5, 10 things, 20 things. And I tell my kids the same thing. I do the same thing, because if we don't program our mind to see the great things that we are doing every single day, our belief system will start going down this rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, I need this, I need that. Can I be an entrepreneur? Can I be a speaker? Can I be this? When in actuality, you have all the things that you need. You may need a little bit of tweak and tools and guidance, of course, but if you don't have a strong belief system in who you are as a person, you're gonna keep yourself in this loop. And you're going to wonder, like, why is my life not going the way that it should be? Why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel uncertain? And those things will happen at times. But if it's consistent and consistently happening to you, then you have to look at, what are you telling yourself every single day? Because I know for me, every day is not perfect. Some days I'm a single parent. So some days I am like, my energy is like, I need a mental break. I have a 6-year-old. Okay. But when I know, Queen, 6 years of age.
6 years old. They are so into everything else that's outside of what you are doing. Okay. So
yes.
Like, pay attention to me.
Exactly. But that affects my, my mindset as well, because because she's high energy. I'm high energy, but sometimes as a mom, as a parent in the home, managing the home, businesses, I need to disconnect. And sometimes, you do question things, but what I do, I'm like, not today. Seriously, you have to self-talk. And some people may be like, well, I don't want to come off as crazy. No, well, I believe we all have a little craziness in us, honestly. It depends on how far you want to take it.
Right. Like, not like need to be in a place where they
no
or anything.
Exactly.
So,
no, none of that.
I do agree with that. I do.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, is really reframing my thought, because there are some days, I could be sitting there and then I'm thinking about my mom, who passed away. I'm thinking about my dad who passed away just in October. So you have to look at, how can I manage the thoughts and what I'm saying to myself every day, because everything that you tell yourself, you are the creator of those thoughts.
Yeah.
And if you keep telling yourself that things are not going right in life, in business, in career, then you are going to be in that space where your belief is you're going to keep questioning who you are as an individual, as a business owner, as a husband, as a wife, whatever that is for you. So the mind, and I got to show the brain, this is so powerful because we get to control it every single day by what we say to ourselves and our belief system,
Yeah.
because it affects everything that we do, our actions, our growth, our opportunities, all of it. And all of that is goes back to self leadership. How are you leading yourself? How are you speaking to yourself? What do you believe about yourself? So
Agree.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I got comments just coming out the yin yang here. Okay. So y'all keep it up. I love this. Love this. So we have Vita. She says, love that you did that public pivot and landed so gracefully.
Thank
And
you.
you know what? And I think the beauty of being in public and doing it public gives others permission to do the same. Because I feel like
Exactly.
people think that they just want to see the polished product, right? And that's not what they want. I can guarantee you, I would much prefer to have someone who's been in the trench and really trying to figure out like what is it for me, and being very transparent and open and honest about, okay, I'm doing this now, okay, who's with me, okay, I'm doing this now, who's with me, I'm over here doing this. Because people always think that entrepreneurship, you just start with the one thing and that's what you go with. And I can tell you, I've talked to many entrepreneurs and they're not doing the same thing that they did when they started because they had to get the clarity.
Yes.
And then Vita says, getting with me early in her journey really helped her to get that clarity. And I think that's important, and it helps to build that confidence level outside of the military. It's not like that we don't have the confidence already to do, but again, it's different. And you have to reintroduce yourself. You
Mhm.
have to, share what you do and how you do it. You have to be able to, create. And the creativity is, y'all, we like the creativity that we have within us is off the charts. I'm like, we can create a whole lot of things,
Yes.
but
You're like, what
but
else now today? What are we
yeah,
building today?
yeah, what are we building
Ooh.
today? And so, you know, and that's okay. I think that's the that you really find out more about yourself, and it helps you to understand and know what it is that you truly have to offer. And Keith says to come to church, needed that. That's Glenroy's comment. And then Samantha said, "Amen."
Amen.
Okay, Keisha said, thank you for the transparency. The transition path can be challenging. I appreciate that even though it's a challenge, but you never gave up on your goal.
No, ma'am, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I think, again, once you put it into your mind and you let it just sit there, it is, this is what I'm going to do. This is
Yeah.
what I am doing. All right. So I don't even use the word I'm trying anymore. I don't use that phrase. I'm doing. Okay,
Exactly.
so it may not be grandioso or, as big as maybe other people are doing it, but it's my business. Okay, so when I get
Exactly.
my business, I'm minding my own business, right?
Yes. And it doesn't need to be grand. And I think, like you
No.
said, Rochelle, a lot of people want to come up here and be perfect. And I think
Yes.
it's about being imperfect, because when you are imperfect, you're not afraid to take action. You're
Yeah.
actually going to take more action because you're like, hey, what do I have to lose? But I think when you come up here and try to be, well, any individual try to be perfect and have all the pieces together, that's when they're planning. They're just in planning. And I've had conversation with business owners, veterans who are just in the planning mode. And
Yeah,
I'm that person. Okay, I hear your plan. When are you taking action?
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like the time that we have, right? We're
Yes.
shortening the runway. So what we did in our previous career for a very long time, we figured that out. We knew how to navigate in that space. Now it's shortening the runway here where we are firing. I always think about when we were on the firing range, ready, set, fire, and so it's
Yes.
like that's the kind of the mindset, the shift that I have is you cannot hesitate. You don't need to start, thinking too hard into this. If it's in here, then you need to just do something with it and
Yes.
see what happens, right?
Yes.
So it's a muscle. You got to
It is.
train the muscle. It's the reps. You got to put them in. Just like anything, if you exercise, like me and Chevy, we are beast when it comes to like gym and working out and stuff like that. But we know it's reps over and over and over again. It's not happening overnight.
And
So
that's what your brain, you recognize the fact that
yeah,
you're doing this specific thing. And I tell my kids, whether it's my son, my daughter, they're in high school and college, and even my youngest, and I tell them all the time, like, again, if you want to do whatever it is, whether it's, you want to play basketball, or my daughter, she wants to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you have to believe that you can achieve that. And
yeah,
two, you have to create the reps to get to that point. And I always go back to my son, for example, like he loves playing certain video games and he's great at it. But when it comes to certain things, he's like, well, I'm not good at this. I said, first of all, stop that type of thought process.
yeah,
You are good if you put the time and effort in. And it goes back to entrepreneurship. Like, you can't keep planning, but the brain needs something like, what are we doing? You're going to plan, but what action are you implementing? Because again, the brain needs to, like, where are we going? What is the path? What is the journey? Because you are building those neurons and connections that you're telling yourself every day, hey, we're building. But then the brain is asking, okay, when are we going to execute?
yeah. We need to see something right now, all right? So I
Yeah,
can respond to it. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
we have to be prepared for objections. And y'all, and I get into my little vocabulary where I kind of use a bigger word, but it's people are not responding, or they
Mhm.
say no, or that's not what they are looking for, right? You have to be ready for that,
Yes.
and it can come very often. So it's again, it's training. Okay, Glenn Roy said, ruminating on what you think is wrong or what you feel you don't have instead of refining the skill sets and abilities that you have keeps you in a stagnant and negative mindset. Your thoughts are most definitely the steering factor for the direction your life will move in. Okay, Glenn, like, listen,
Well said.
well said. We ain't arguing with that at all. Okay, I love
None.
that. All right, and then we got Kim watching, Natalie's watching, Dominique's watching. Okay, y'all over there enjoying the show. I love that
Love
you're
it.
here. Okay, then we got Bob, Fabian, BZ. Okay, I love when we got the air quotes, like nicknames and personas in there. So thank you so
Yes.
much for streaming from San Francisco. I think you are the most west that we have here live on the show. And I'm hopefully you have good weather because we do not on this side of the world. But you know, the mindset, is with the leadership pair with the leadership, it spills and leaks into all the things that we are doing, all the
Yes.
things. And, we also know the importance of wellness. Now, in the space that you were at prior, as you were navigating where you were going to be, this wellness journey has to be incorporated as well. Like too
Yes.
many times, all right, y'all. And I love my community. I love my veteran community. I'm, a product of the service for sure. Um, it's sometimes though we neglect, all right, it's almost like it's a blatant neglect
Mm-hmm.
to not keep up on you know making sure our bodies, our minds, our souls, our spirits, they're
Yes.
all in tune. And the 8 dimensions of wellness, I speak to this all the time, y'all, because in the military, they only focus on the physical, emotional, social, and
Mental.
spiritual. So those are the 4 different areas that they used to just tell us all the time. But they didn't tell us about intellectual
Mm.
wellness, occupational wellness, financial wellness, or environmental wellness. Which, if any of these are off balance, everything you are doing, it's not, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel like something is off, right?
Yes.
So we speak to holistic wellness. We don't just speak to this one block, we speak to all of them. So in your work, in the way that you speak to your clients, into audiences, what is your take, if you will? I think it's more of, where do you come from? What angle do you come from when it comes to in the holistic
For
wellness space?
for me is whole person concept, like the military, and that is mental, that is emotional, that is physical, that is what you put in your mouth, nutrition, that is self-talk, how you speak to yourself. So for me, it encompasses many different variables, and your environment is a big factor as well too. So I think what you shared is very much in alignment, I
Yeah.
would say. And for me, because I've served clients who the mindset is the big thing that was a hindrance to them in moving forward and taking action as entrepreneurs. And these, whether it's a veteran or whether it's someone who is a non-veteran, that mental wellness piece is, for me, is a big, because again, I was affected by that as well too. But I think holistically, because even when I looked at my journey from being, like diagnosed with anxiety, and that first coming about, and just like the fear of like, oh my goodness, what is this thing? And the stress, because again, your stress affects your overall well-being, and just knowing that I needed to do something, because if I didn't, Rochelle, I felt I felt like I was becoming a different person. And for
Mm,
me, yes, and it was scary, especially
mm,
having two young kids. My son at the time was about 6 months of age, and I didn't like the thoughts and what I was feeling, even to the point where I felt like I didn't want to drive my own self to work. Again, this was
mm.
started in 2010, and I had to ask my husband at the time to say, "Hey, can you drive me to work?" And even because if I drove myself, I felt like I was in this tunnel vision, and then the fear and all the things. But I had to take action because I was living in fear, and I didn't want to have it consume me, like take over me mentally, because I knew that I wanted to enjoy life. So the first thing that I did, for me was, got assistance through medical, of course, because I'm like, what is this thing? It is new to me. It is scary. I need, give me something quick to fix this, shut off my thoughts, the negative thoughts. And, I did that, but then I was like, okay, I am that person. I want to make sure that I live the way I want to live. And I use running as my fuel.
Mhm,
That was, and it's still my thing today, is
mhm.
running, nutrition, and journaling. When I say
Journaling.
those three things allow me to shift. Do I get anxious? Yes, of course. It's
Mhm,
part of life. But now I'm able to self-talk, whether it's okay, I need to go for a run. But those are the things that I use, and I have provided with other clients to utilize to overcome, whether it's a mindset shift, whether it's just to eat, healthier, have more movement, whatever that is. Because I used to be a personal trainer and a
mhm.
group exercise instructor. So for me, it's the whole person concept, from the mind, what tell yourself, your movement, what you consume. So yeah, so it's a lot of different variables, but each person get to choose which aspect they want to utilize on a consistent basic,
Yeah.
because you may not be able to have time to do all of it. So my thing would be, okay, what are your top three things that you can do? For me is what I'm eating, how I'm moving, how high I am moving, but also what I'm saying to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, in the journey to do all those things, it is like you're okay one day, not okay the next day,
Mhm.
really low the next day, and then you're high, right? You're going into this roller coaster effect of emotions. And each one of these particular areas, we sometimes decide from a place of emotion of what we're
Yes.
going to do, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
because we are just emotional beings, But, sometimes we just need to be still and just kind of look at what is happening around us and what is the themes, what is being played out over and over again. Is that in alignment or not? And we adjust, we make decisions. Like, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I mean, I stopped believing in that years ago, right? When they said new year, new me. Like, I would do me up in here, right?
I still say that because I follow through, though.
Yeah, you following through, right? But I'm like, half the people done quit like at third week of January of doing any of these things. So that's why it's important to have, somewhat of a system for yourself.
Yes.
Where you can stay consistent, committed to. That way, when you do go about doing whatever it is that you're doing, and right now we're in the entrepreneurial space where we have to show up a lot, okay, through social media, through, in-person events. We want to come at our best, all right? We want to come in the favorite version of ourselves. But all the aspects that we talk about is important as we continue to do the work. Now, we got lots of comments, okay? So let me go
go right ahead.
Leslie, she says, talk to it, okay? And I think this is the belief when we were talking through that discussion. She says, when we get it, we are still looking for more. So when we're, I think she meant when we get something that's like, okay, this is what we're doing, but we stray away from it, right? We need, and your brain is like, where is that? Where is it? I need that, okay, to kind of like hone on to. So she was speaking to that piece that we were speaking to. And then BZ said, you're a rock star. So like,
try to be.
No. Yeah, you try to be. Don't say trying. Say, yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am that person. I am that
you
woman.
are. You are her. Okay. And so Leslie says she loves the tangible brain. Yes. She uses it a lot, y'all. Casey says the coolest thing about Shevvy is that she is a duck. What people see is the calm, the grace, but underwater, the feet are moving 1,000 miles a minute.
I like that. Thank you, Keith. Yes.
I mean, that's just how it is. Calm under pressure, calm in life. We are talking about real things, y'all. This is what we have to live in. And I think that when people want to excuse that or put it to the side and be like, that's not part of the journey. I'm like, that's everything to do with the journey.
Yes.
So he nailed that. Go ahead.
Yes. And I want to just kind of add to that, because even while I was in active duty, and that's one of my core strengths, is like when things are happening, the chaos, like I know how to still like stay grounded in that space and get things done. Because even, past leaders would say like, Shevvy, like the fact that you're able to still be calm and still, respond, because I think a lot of people just get so flustered and angry and all the things. Because even in my life situation, which I've shared with you, I think sometimes from my divorce, and that's why I wrote, my book, was, just the challenges that I experienced from whether it's, betrayal, relationship, friendship, and still being able to transition with my mental well-being or my peace, and not, going back to what Keith stated, like at the front, like I'm going to be calm and neutral, but even behind, but I'm still going to do things that needs to get done, because I don't allow those situations or individuals to keep me down at all. So,
and that's a really good skill to have. Not a lot of people can do what you are doing right now, because it requires you to, exert energy into places where it's like, okay, I need to really think about this right now. Okay, what am I doing in the moment? I need to focus on that. I need to concentrate on that, and I need to get this thing done. All right. So, but sometimes we have our, things in our mind, and we're going here, there, and everywhere, and nothing's really sticking. We can't find that momentum or that traction that we're looking for.
And part of that, Rochelle, is discipline.
Oh, yeah. Well,
discipline. Part of that core thing is discipline, because I'm telling you, life will happen. Like if you don't have the discipline in yourself,
Oh no.
self-lead to do what you need to do, like you will be looking back years from now and
Yeah.
asking, question like, what did I get done? But discipline is at the core of the things that we want to do.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah, look, you preach it to the choir. Okay,
Oh, I
so
know.
yeah, this is it. We could be in here all day talking about this plan. People are like, oh, I don't want to hear no more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Casey's question. Wait, first before we get to Casey, Glenroy had a comment here that oof. Okay, we'll do Casey's first, and then we'll get to Glenroy because Glenroy he done open up another avenue over here. All right, so how do you balance what people see and what you decide to share?
For me, I don't think people need to know all of your business
Yeah.
at all. And because I feel like sometimes on social, people want to share just the bad things that are happening in life. For me, it's yes. And for me, I don't operate in that space. For me, I will show you, my vulnerability, whether I'm sharing a story of, me crying or sharing, my dad passing, but I don't go in so deep to where all of it is out here to the public because that's still my story and my journey. So, going back to Casey Keith question, for me, it's just knowing that my life is my life, but I don't care to share all of it to the world because
Yeah.
I do think about my kids. I do think about my siblings, and I whatever I do, I don't want it to impact them in a negative way. So I share enough to where I can still connect.
Yeah.
And you can still see me as, oh, this is, that's like a friend, like a best friend I'm talking to, because that's what I want you to feel, because that's how when I'm sharing, feel like I'm talking to a friend. And even in my book, that's how I wrote my book, as if I am speaking to my friend, because I'm still sharing my journey, but I don't care to share the negative or unhealthy things that has occurred to where, because what is the purpose of that? For me, it's here's my journey, but I'm showing you how I move, how I choose to move forward. That's what I want you to see, not just the struggle, not just, oh, Shevvy is no, because Shevvy is not going to be sitting there for months and years. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to hurt. I'm going to cry. And I'm going to share with you what I experienced in the sense of my emotions and things, but I'm not going to go into the details of, oh, this, there's no
Play
need.
by play.
Exactly. There's no need for that for me. Yeah. So that's how I can balance.
Yeah, I agree totally on what you shared. And my added comment is, what does your brand saying? Okay. It's a brand thing.
Yes.
If your brand is, I share all the details, the ins and outs, and I can do that on a consistent basis, and this is what I want, and here are the people that I want to attract, then go for it, right?
Yes.
But if you want your brand to say, hey, I want to show you intention, I want us to show you moving forward, I want to show you meaningful purpose, I want to show you how you can live a life that you fully can say, you know what, I did this, I created this. It is what you want. But me in the space that I'm operating in, it's all about, I want to present in the way that I want to be perceived.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
Go
and
ahead.
I love that you said perceive, because if someone from LinkedIn or any social, whatever you see on here, you will see the same Shevvy in person.
That's right.
No difference. We're going to laugh. We're going to kick you. We're going to do all the things. If you can say, hey, let's do this, let's have, it's going to be the same authentic, I can connect with Shevvy. I can, seem like same. There's no difference. Ask my kids, ask anyone whether I've met in person. We've met in person, a couple times already. So, and same for you. There's no difference in how you show up. And I think that's the part of showing people. So when they see you on social, they still see the same person in person.
That's right. So y'all, yes, I know how to dance it to Mia. I know how to line dance. And yes, I'll be out there all the time. So I'm just saying, I think that, when they see
Mhm.
a certain person and they're like, well, is she going to show up like that? Yes. Turn the music on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we both, like me and Chevy, love to line dance, and,
Yes.
so
Yes. We were
don't
sisters from different misters.
different misses. Okay. And then Glenroy,
Mhm.
okay, he said, fear is debilitating. We have to get the black and white logistics of any situation that we have fear for. Having black and white logistics allows us to develop a perspective about the situation that we fear. In development of that perspective, we can work through the fear into movement and productive progress. Now, I've never heard of this concept before. He's calling it the black and white logistics of
Mhm.
any situation. So that's why, Glenroy, you need to be on the show. Now, I'm not going to tell you too many more times. Okay. So like, let's just get it done so we can figure out like where you come from, because he has such great knowledge
He does.
about, being in your most authentic self, and then pushing that forward to develop the progress, the work that you're trying to do. And with all that being said,
Yeah.
okay, so now you're an author. Okay, so there's a
No.
lot.
I don't have
Yeah,
any shakers.
well, I do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
So if you hang around me long enough, y'all, everybody, okay, is writing. Everybody
Yes.
is writing. But I do believe in the power of leaving a tangible item, such as a book, um, a workbook, or a even podcast here, something that people can see as an evergreen product.
Yes.
Because we are in legacy mode. When you're here in Slay Nation, this is all legacy mode. All right. So now, like, talk through, okay, how you wrote your book, you published your book, you wrote the workbook, and where did this all originate from?
Yes. So I'm going to show the book right here and the workbook also. And this book has been in me since I went through my transition, my divorce in 2017. And it stemmed from the experience, because even when I was going through that experience, because sometimes you have one person who don't want the situation or relationship to end, and because of my resilience to transition out of that and not lose my mental or who I was in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I never did anything with writing the book. And then last year, it just, again, being around you. And I was like, and I've said to you, I was like, I need to write my book. And you're like, girl. And you like, I'm gonna hold you accountable, Shevvy, and all the things. And so I finally decided to, and again, I didn't, my thing was like, I don't want to just sit here and type. So I use Google Doc and I just verbalize. I word vomit all the things, have my outline and say, okay, here's what I want to, kind of share. And for me, it was just sharing my journey, not all of it from, my challenges, but not the depth of like all the things that went wrong, but how I was able to navigate those experiences, whether it's life, whether it's career, and now as a business owner, because again, business is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And after writing the book, just a draft, and I said, okay, I need to get this solidified in the sense of quality, in a sense of, because I didn't want to just write a book just to write a book and then have it on the shelf. Just like with you, like you're writing books to make sure that it reach more people and impact more lives. So I did hire a book coach, Jasmine Womack, and I joined her academy to help just kind of flush out, streamline, and get feedback, because the title was different. The title was supposed to be The Resilient Woman Leader. And, after, sharing with her, and we came up with the title Woman Breathe, because for me is truly about helping that high performing, ambitious woman who is operating in high stress roles. Like pretty much she is me.
She is you.
She is me. She is you. She is other women out there. There's probably other women right here on the live right now who's like, that's who I am. And that's why I decided to write this book, was to really help other women to really reclaim her identity of who she is as a woman. Because too often, including myself, we're wearing many hats: the mom, the wife, We're going to school, we're launching multiple businesses, we have a full-time career where we're working over 40 hours, then we still have family and parents, and also sharing the transition of, being the person to lead in burying, my mom. And then, just different things, dealing with anxiety as well too. So the goal of this is to help women who are at the juncture of dealing with similar things that I've dealt with, to know that she can thrive through anything, no matter the season. Because I think as we live and we go through hard times, sometimes it's hard for some of us to get back to living, like truly living. So this book is it's a guide for that woman who is like, nah, I want more. I want to live. I want to have more joy. I want to have more energy. I want to have more movement in my life. So it gives you tools that you can actually implement. Because for me, it's not just telling a tell-all book. It's more, here's a path to get back to self.
Yeah. It's very interesting how, lives, the things that happen in our lives, right?
Yes.
And we just count it as, that's just what we do. That's what we're doing. And to really put it into writing to help others.
Yes.
To see that, one, they're not alone, right? The struggle is real.
It is.
And when people are masking what has actually happened, I think that's a disservice. I really truly think it's a disservice to the community. So when you're in mission-driven, businesses or, advocacy work, it's important that there are different ways for people to understand you.
Yes.
To know what you are available to help with. And if it's just a simple book to help the many, that's, the legacy building, the long lasting after we are done. All right.
Yes.
To help the next generation to see that the same issues that we had, they may be facing those as they they get into their age and into the season. So I congratulate you 1,001%, okay, for doing what you said you were going to do.
Yes, following through.
Okay. It doesn't have to be like, overnight. It took you a minute, but
Yes.
now you are satisfied. You are,
Yes.
With your product, where the direction this is going into, and it feeds into everything that you're doing. Now,
Yes.
y'all, so after the book and so forth, we do need, and I don't know how much more time, we've been on here for an hour, y'all. Yes, I understand. I see the time. It might be a little bit more because there are a few questions that I have for Shevvy, so that way she can share this as well. So now you're in the federal space, if you will. Okay. This
Yes.
federal execution, building strategy, allowing people to see, hey, you need to be ready for opportunities. So, how is that journey for you? And what have you learned about not only yourself, but about this space?
Wow. First, I'm enjoying the journey. It's a complex journey. Environment, if you're looking to break into the federal market. And it really takes time, because when I first learned about, because being active duty, we understand on the inside. I know for my career field, we have to order a lot of different things, whether for food, for fitness, lodging, for events on the installation. So like purchasing things, it's like, okay, but coming out and retiring and like, oh, what is the capability statement? What is that? So just kind of learning about that journey was, again, doing research. But what I've learned tapping into the federal market to help small businesses is that a lot of small businesses, one, don't have the time. They don't have the full awareness of what all is needed to be fully ready. And they don't have the capacity. And there are different levels. I've talked to clients, where, hey, they're making money on the commercial space, but they don't have any clue of how to navigate the complexity of being ready and in the federal space, and they may have, a SAM registration, but they don't know what is the next step after that. And I think even from my experience, there's so many different programs and opportunities and training that gives you like the basic foundation of what federal is. But then there's no one in between truly to say, hey, let me guide you to this next step. And truly be intentional would help you to guide, especially with the free resources, which is great because I've used a lot of them. But it's like a lot of small businesses are asking, what's next? And I've had a lot of individuals, whether it's a tech founder, whether it's a service-based business owner, come and say, hey, Shevvy, I'm lost. And they have all these qualifications because, again, we have all these qualifications, but it's like, what guidance do we have? So for me, they have the skill set, they have the qualification, but they don't have anyone giving them the clear direction to say, here's where you need to focus. Here's how you identify the opportunities, because there's a lot of opportunities. And I think a lot of people are, whether they're on YouTube or paying different individuals, and they're saying, hey, go to sam.gov, but there's so much data in there. Yeah. And they don't have the time to, I don't want to be in there either as well too. So for me, what I've learned to a lot of minority, whether they're going after SBIR, which is the innovation funds, there's a lot of people are not aware of those opportunities either. And me learning about that, because again, I had no clue what that was a year and a half ago. But just through research and understanding, I'm like, oh, this is grant money, free money that is being utilized, that has been utilized for decades, since 1982 and 1992, the two different programs came about. And just having conversation with program managers, whether, program managers for NASA, Department of Energy, they wanted to see more diverse people in there. So hearing that, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying learning about it. So why not support more businesses in that space who are diverse? And so the journey has been, up and down, because again, some people are not aware. I don't have like a whole bunch of clients just flowing in all the time, that would be great. So if you're out here and you're like, hey,
just for the plug. Okay.
I need some support, by all means, reach out. But no, what I've learned too about this journey, I realized that I want to support clients who are in that ready state. And because I know some people, some business owners will say they're ready, but honestly, from conversation I've had with leads, they're not truly ready. Yeah. Ready in the sense of time, ready in the sense of financially, because they're not fully ready to invest, because you have to be ready to invest. Because, and the ones who has invested and hired me to serve them, they knew they didn't have the capacity. They knew that they didn't have the time, but they knew that, oh, Shevvy can help support them to get these RFPs submitted with quality so that it can get through the door. So it has been an experience, and I'm enjoying, I'm still learning a lot, but I love the ability to identify partnerships for them, because, like I have a call coming up, and these are conversations that I'm having with founders who are creatives, who are building things that will change the economy in the United States as a whole, or even outside of the United States, finding partnership to help them get that innovation to the next level. It's exciting, just bringing different individuals together. Again, I'm a connector as well too. So for me, it's just like, you have the vision, let me help you get to the finish line. So it's a journey, and I'm enjoying it. This aspect of my business. Yes.
Well, I know, it has been the research. You got a doctoral degree in SBIR.
Girl, yes, I love that. I do. Yes.
Well, that too. But what we were speaking, what I was alluding to also was, you're looking into, getting your doctoral degree.
Yes, getting back into that. Because I did start right while I was still in active duty. So I completed 6 classes for my doctoral. So I need to get back into, but life was happening. So I had to put that on pause. And this is just a reminder, when life happens, it's okay to put things on pause. Agreed. But also it's okay to, when you get back to that frame of mind, to continue on that journey that you said, whatever you started. So
yeah. Yeah, it's important that you keep that there instead of saying and looking at it as a failure, or I can't get anything accomplished.
Yes.
You just need to take it from a different angle. Glenn Roy said, a book is you sharing your testimony with others who may be entering or in the midst of situations similar to the ones that you overcame. Any knowledge that we gain and do not share is useless. Our experiences can help others tremendously. I absolutely agree.
Well said. And I want to just kind of add to what Glenroy stated, because a woman purchased the book, and she pretty much is a friend, and she read just the beginning, and she sent me a text message, and she said, Shevvy, she's like, wow. She's like, just from what I've read in the first pages, she was like, because of the state of where she currently is at in her career, it's overwhelming, it's stressful, and supporting her husband. And she said she saw herself through those pages, and that was only in the first, and that's what I wanted. It's like I'm talking to a friend who's going through the same challenges that I went through. And she shared that she was crying, and her anxiety came up because that's where she was sitting at with life and career challenges. So definitely it's just a reminder, you can't just go through life experiences and not share, because you can help someone to overcome or shift where they're at in life.
I absolutely agree. And so anybody out there who's looking to write, to start writing, all right?
Yes.
Because if you got
and Rochelle can help you.
And I can help you. I can help you get there for sure. Yes, there's no coulda, shoulda, wouldas in my world. All right. Yes. And BZ said, I am doing no excuses. Okay. Yes. So this has been really great. And I am so, the journey. I love seeing from where we started out, a couple of years ago to where we're at right now. And it's almost like night and day. I mean, we're the same people, but the growth that has occurred has been significant. When you're in a long career and then you step into new, you think to yourself, this is like a steep learning curve, right? I mean, and of course, at the very beginning, the past couple of years have been that. But once you start to realize, you're like, okay, where I am leaning more into, getting more clarity, that's when you start to establish authority without rank. And let me tell you something, y'all. When you can establish authority without rank, titles, positions, any of those things, and people are following, that means that you have a certain level of influence, which can take you to many places that you never even dreamed of.
Amen.
Many places. All right. So I just want you guys just to keep in mind, and based on Chevy's journey of what she is doing and how she's navigating being a single parent, and having all these responsibilities. And I know the 6-year-old, and her, I don't know if you want me to tell her the name of the daughter, because sometimes
we'll say M.
Okay, knocking on the door talking about mommy. All right, so because she's been on here for a minute. So what are your last words, if you will, as we come to a close for tonight? And I got the last question, of course.
I would say my last word to anyone who's watching this currently right now, watching this later on, is to know that, and to know that where you're at, it's not the end. You may be questioning things. You may be looking at your situation. You may be looking at your business like, hey, where's this money? Okay. Where's this money? Where are the clients? Because your girl, trust me, some of them are like, okay, clients, I'll be working hard. What's going on? Where y'all at? Leads. But no, honestly though, like things will work out. If you need to pivot. If you need to transition out of something, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job, whether that's a business, like whatever it like, do, because at this point of life, for me and for you, you have to ask yourself, how am I living the life that I want? And we have to look at our current situations and ask ourselves where I'm at, the people I'm around, the things that I'm doing, are they fueling me?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they draining me?
Mm-hmm.
Because in 2025, I transitioned out of a 7-year partnership. But I had to make that choice for me because I wanted something different in a sense of life, quality, and more joy. Okay, because I'm a joyful person, I'm energetic. I can't allow people to keep being unhealthy. So, my statement to you as you look at your life, what is it that you want for yourself today, tomorrow, 10 years from now? If there's no alignment, adjust if you're able to, because I know not everyone is able to, but be honest with yourself. If you have doubt, if you're questioning, if you're, in your head consistently, and when I say consistently, not in a healthy way, but an unhealthy way, let's shift that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tap into your belief system and start writing down that you are an amazing person. That business is thriving, even though it might not be thriving right now. We're gonna say it is, okay?
We
Because
saying
all
it is.
exactly, because all of that allows you to rewire your brain and your belief system. And I would challenge you every day as you move forward, write 10 things minimum. You could do more of what you're grateful for, because when you do that, it rewires your brain in a
Mm-hmm.
healthy way, in a beautiful way. Focus on you, choose you, do what you need to do.
Mm. Okay, y'all heard it. All right. So when we hear things, what we do, we act on it. We do
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yes.
She said, yeah, Chanela said, this was so good. So much raw and real knowledge shared. Thank you,
Thank
sister, for
you.
being
Yes,
here
thank
tonight.
you.
And Samantha says, hashtag true. It all works out. Yes.
Yes, it
You know,
does.
yes, it does. So y'all, we are going to be closing in. And of course, I've got the last question of the evening that I ask all my guests the same question. And Chevy's heard this question repeatedly. And so, it'll be interesting to watch the
I was
last
thinking the
show.
same thing.
And
What
see
I
what you
said last
said.
time.
Yeah, well, what did you say last time?
I
Okay.
don't even recall.
You know what? But
Probably
you know
nice
what?
or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, well, I mean, but when you get a little bit more, wiser,
Yeah.
and there things have happened and changed,
Yes.
the answer, it may be different. Who knows?
Yes.
Um, so 80th birthday party, if God gives us those years and
Yes.
we have that party and family and friends are on the microphone and they're coming up. Yeah, I want to say something. I want to say something. You know how they be. I want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want them to say about you?
Oh my goodness. At the age of 80, and I'm praying, and like you said, God willing, we get to see those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I want my family and friends to say that Shevvy was a kind person. She pushed you to do more than what you thought you were capable of. She would be the first one on the dance floor and the last one to leave. Whenever you needed help and support, you can call her. You can call her if you feel down. She's gonna be the one to say, let's go. We're not doing that. Definitely someone you can count on to support you, to uplift you, to help you achieve the things that you want. Those are the things they're going to say, and they're going to say she loves to laugh as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So bring the jokes.
Bring the jokes, y'all. You know what? And I'll just say this because me and you have a very close relationship.
Yes.
Over the past 2 years, our friendship has, grown
Yes.
to a point where we get each other. Like
Yes.
we leave messages for one another, and it is like all encompassing. It could be from business to, errands that we're running
Mhm.
to the discussions that we may be having with ourselves or with our children. It could be a number of things. And I
Yes.
can say that, when you do have a friendship like we do, you need to cherish it and hold on to it, because they don't happen very much, and especially in our older years
Yes.
where relationships start to shift and change in a different direction. And for the veterans who may have had relationships that were in the military and now they're not a relationship now, don't get upset, don't panic, don't go into that type of emotion. We found each other and it has been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So yes, they're going to say all that and then some. Okay, on your 80th birthday, I'm going to be there. Where my fans at? You better be playing
Yes.
that right when we get into the room. Okay, so but
Yeah.
it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here on the show. I do want to thank the people that showed up today or tonight.
Yes.
We
Before
had
you said, I just want to thank you for bringing me on for the second time. I truly appreciate it. I love the raw conversation, like Chanela said, that we're able to have here live with your audience. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're absolutely welcome. And who knows? We're gonna have number 3 here in a minute. Okay,
You never
so
know.
you
Yes.
never know. I mean, because we could go on and on and on. Okay.
Yeah.
So Shanilla, she was here. Thank you for showing up tonight. Samantha, Vita, Leslie, Keisha, Chris, Keith, Susan, um, Bob, BZ. Uh, just want to make sure I capture everybody. So that was on LinkedIn and the
Got
YouTube side.
Chris.
And yeah, got Chris on
Mhm.
there. And
Okay.
then we had on the uh, Facebook side, and look, Facebook, he ain't trying to let me be great over here. We had Glenroy, and Keith was on the Facebook, and then he went on over to the YouTube side.
Okay.
So he tried to, he tried to make this sure that all these platforms are being looked at. Dominique, Kim, and Dominique is my husband. Okay, y'all. Kim, Mallard was here. Natalie Castile was here. And Glenroy. I think I said Glenroy already. Okay. Well, Glenroy, you get double tap because,
Yes.
you always add in so much value. So, y'all, this has been the Slate to Success talk show. And tonight I was featuring Shevon, Shevvy, Maxwell. And like what we do here, okay? We are going to use all these gems. We're going to add it to whatever we're doing, and we are going to, continue to slay to success. All right. Now, next week, I have another Slay Amazing guest, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So, hope we get to see you there as well. And keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And we will see y'all very soon.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.